We are live on YouTube. Gonna dig into this leftover paint for some of these mini abstracts that I do. I'll try to do some mark making today. Oh, I want to set the timer because, well, this gives me a time, unlike TikTok, I guess. But there we go, there's my timer, so I can get my marble. So I can reward myself for being live, because I don't like it, but it's gonna be hard to pile these up and be on a live. That's the only tricky part. Probably should have thought about that before I went live, but what can you do? I did not think of it, so I am thinking of it now. Yeah, usually I run back and forth to the living room, so that won't really be an option, I guess. I have to get clever. But if no one's here, I guess, like me right now, I'd probably get more interaction if I went live on Instagram, but maybe later. I like adding this pop of yellow to this one. It has many layers of purple going on it, so really like fun complement. Yes, right now I'm just starting off with a palette knife on some of these minis that have like several layers already going. But then I've got another whole pile of ones that have like marks made on them with, I don't know, stuff I found lying everywhere. Because I will literally pick up stuff off the side of the road. My husband and I take walks every day. My latest happy finds. This is that hefty like piece of plastic and a broken Lego. I missed your comment. I'm sorry. I didn't see it fast enough. It said wait on the first one here, and then I missed it. I'm sorry. Forgive me. If I was talking to myself and you're like, why are you talking to yourself? Well, that is because I'm used to doing demos and teaching and just talking to kind of nobody until people show up. I just got way too much paint on this, so now I'm trying to fix it. I don't want it goopy, so I'm gonna try to knock some. There we go. Knock some of it off. Aha. There we go. I usually thin the paint out with water, and I have a brush nearby so I can smash it up and mix it in good with the water. These are golden acrylic paints, in case you're curious. They're like my favorite acrylics, and they're what I use on the big paintings that I make in the back there. But I like to use all the leftover paint to make like these crazy paintings. This is something I got. I probably didn't buy it. A lot of my stuff I didn't buy. It's always in the free bin. I find the best stuff in the free bin. Oh my goodness. I love the free bin. Anybody else love the free bin? I am an art teacher. I teach watercolors though. I don't I may get on a live and do some watercolors at some point. I don't know. I don't they're very representational florals, so I like them, but I don't always paint watercolors at home. Although I need to get into the one that I had started before I got bit by the tick. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Man, I got a tick bite a month ago. I got so sick. I didn't take it seriously because in upstate New York, some people are sort of like, oh, they're not that bad. I had several people tell me, not a big deal. And then I got really sick and I went to the urgent care and the doctor was like, you shouldn't. Oop, I just shook the tripod. Sorry about that. And the doctor was like wagging his finger at me and he was really mad. He's like, what are you doing? Not taking this seriously. I'm like, I don't know. The last time I got bit, they told me not to worry about it. But so, anyways, I had to be on doxycycline and that made me really sick. I don't do well with antibiotics. So, yeah. Um, but I was afraid not to take it because Lyme disease, I guess, is really bad. My friends were sending me like messages. Oh, I know somebody who died. I'm like, oh, that's great. So some people said not a big deal. My kids get bit every day. My dog gets bit every day. And other people were like preparing me for the intensive care unit. So I felt like it was a bit of both. um, I've made it through. I still have to get retested though. So hopefully I won't have to be on more medication. And hopefully I won't have any more nerve issues because I started having very bad nerve pain. And then once they found out I got a tick bite, they were all like, ah. So telling you have nerve pain, they'll take you seriously, I guess. All right. This is just to kind of get like, I don't know, semi-even coverage. This one's kind of big. A lot of my abstract minis are like really tiny. Like this one is standard size, but my paintings, this one behind me looks only like a little bit, but that's only because you're seeing a little bit of it, like a third of it. I think it's 24, no, 28 by 40 or something. I can't remember. I can't remember stuff about my paintings. I have to keep a lot of notes because I don't remember the titles. I don't remember the sizes. Don't ask me questions about the stuff I paint. I'm just painting it. I can't. When I do exhibits of my flower watercolor paintings, which I don't even think I have any posted on YouTube. I should do a tour of them. But people ask me like, what's the parts of the flower, and I'm like, I don't know. What do I know? So, all right. So that's like the next layer, and I think that's pretty good. So that one I'll set aside so I can start drying before I hit the next one. Oops, sorry if I touch my microphone. I don't even know if this microphone is helping. It says it's on. It says it's on noise reduction. I just got these, so I'm not really sure. This one is like a splash and go type of thing. So what I usually will do is like load up my paintbrush. I can move the kitchen utensil. I don't know what this is. What do you do with this? Does it like cradle an egg? I don't know. Yeah, sorry. I'm not very good at doing these lives, and I don't like creating content. I like creating art. I don't really like creating content, but the last several years I was kind of pushed into, considering a variety of social media accounts, and I had a whole bunch of them until I was very overwhelmed. And only recently did I decide I'm going to focus on YouTube, actually, where they don't like punish you for not engaging with other accounts. All of the other social media platforms punish you for not engaging in other social media accounts. And I don't have time for that. Like I need to make art and now I need to make content, which wow. So I don't have time to go like your page or whatever. I do follow people back though. And I do watch YouTube channels that I comment on. It's not like I don't have any YouTube engagement. It's just it's not like you get punished though if you're somehow, I don't know, not liking and following and all that stuff. I just, yeah, like if I can, I can. But I got art to make, so I sprayed like a layer of water down, and all right, probably look kind of silly doing that, but so I sprayed the water down, and now I'm gonna like add a little bit more, see what happens with it. And in a way, I do get inspiration from painting as a watercolorist, and play around with my acrylics kind of in the same-ish way. So the acrylics like sit heavier, and I'm using them on canvas so they can get into the weave of the canvas a little better. And so they behave kind of like watercolors, but they behave a little differently because they'll settle into the weave of the canvas more. So I like the effect you get. So that one we'll set aside. And let that one dry. It's a wet day outside again. What isn't new for upstate New York? So all this will take forever to dry probably. But I have many, many paintings. The pile of paintings, if you could see them in front of me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, besides the pile that you see behind me and the ones that we've just done. So it takes me a little bit to get through them all. I don't know why I talk like that when I'm on a live, by the way. I'm sorry. I'll try not to be so patronizing in my tone. This one is just a whole bunch of slash making marks over like a variety of painter's tape. I use like automotive and painter's tape and different types of tapes in the work guide and these little abstracts that I pump out. These are so rewarding because they are so much faster than the big paintings, but I love the big paintings because they look really cool. I think I have a couple of those posted on my YouTube. I don't know if I have any of my flower watercolors, but I'll probably start doing some watercolor lives very soon, like probably next week. I've got camping and stuff planned this summer, so my brain is into camping, not trying to acclimate to the idea of being on YouTube, but it's nothing against you guys. It's a lot of setup. Like I could have already been painting for a full hour before I went live because I had to do all the live stuff. And I just wanted to like paint, you know? Oh, this takes a special thing I have. It has a squishy texture. This thing, I got this at I think Five Below, or maybe I think it was Five Below. I want to say the Dollar Tree, maybe. I don't know. I find stuff at the Dollar Tree, and it makes like interesting marks. Flip it around so it doesn't get like, too one directional. I really like having a random sort of, I don't know, organic development to my work. Like, I'm not afraid to let go of the outcome. In fact, you know what's really funny? If he's on, I hope he doesn't mind me throwing him under the bus. And if he's not, then too bad for him. My husband and I often get into arguments about, not arguments, but like discussions, heavy discussions about letting go of outcome. Like my whole a lot of my artwork is letting go of outcome. Now there's a lot of my artwork that is not about letting go of outcome, and it seems like very controlled, but I really don't know how this comes together until it's done, and it might not come together. It may suck. Some of these I like more than others, so it just depends. Usually I'm running back and forth to the living room to set these aside, so we'll see how this works, because I feel like I'm confined to this window here, this little window, and I want to be careful and not use up all my paint, because I always save a little bit for the like touch-ups or extra layers. So this has 3 coats of just the first 2 colors, so before I move on to the third color, I'm kind of cleaning off my palette, and I'll save a little bit of the paint just for touch-up work or whatever, and then I'm free to use it all up. But until then, I need to save a little bit, but I like to use some of it to make these little abstracts. So this one, I'm literally just splashing with my brush, but I need to thin out the paint a little bit. I don't want to thin it too much because then it dries too transparent. Lucent, transparent, translucent. That's an art term I should know, but it's been a while since I was in art school, friends, because I'm an old lady. Oh, now I'm alone, old lady, which is too bad. If I missed comments or whatever, I am so sorry. I didn't even know if this would be worth watching, so I was like, you know what? I hate going live, so I'm just gonna do my playtime paintings. before I dig into the heavy duty stuff, I'm going to spend an hour doing playtime paintings. And that's what I'm doing right now. My playtime paintings. They're not really finger paintings, although sometimes my fingers do get involved. That's a decently even distribution of yellow. I love this new yellow I have. I just don't love that I'm going to have to find places to put things if I'm not near the camera. But it's all an interesting challenge. Oh, I should do this one because it's right here and it's so tiny. I can set it right there with my fun kitchen tool that I got at a yard sale. I don't think I paid for it though. All my best stuff is from the free bin, or like from the floor at church, or from the walk with my husband. Where's the thing I grabbed off the side of the road? Oh, this thing. I love grabbing things like off the ground and taking it home and adding it to my studio. And if you're like, ew, that's gross, uh, just know that I am bathing twice a day and I have a very hardy immune system. I do like my baths. I'm a spoiled brat with my baths. They make me happy. This has a lower layer of yellow, but it's a slightly brighter yellow from the previous layer of the painting. So this painting that's behind me, that's going to be called Eye on the Prize, has 10 different colors in it. And I pre-mixed them all up in the pots that you see there. And as I go through each color, I use the paint the entire, from the start to finish of the color. So once I paint it on there and it's 3 coats, I'm done with the color. I just save a little bit for touch-ups. So what I do is I go and use the extra paint that I made because I have to kind of guess. Hopefully I don't underguess, which I've done. And I have to mix up a whole new batch, which usually then I have to repaint everything just to make it even. But I like to use the leftover paint to make my fun paintings, my playtime paintings. It's basic. It really is just a playtime for me. But I don't know. It's fun. It's making art can be stressful. So I know that sounds crazy, but when I'm painting on my realistic paintings, it's stressful. I'm working on a duck in oil right now, and this guy is stressing me out. I had to put him down. I let him dry, and I put him down. I said, Duck, you and I will be back. We will be friends on another day. So I dug back into my very graphic sort of arts acrylic painting I was working on and decided to pull out the playtime paintings. They have been stacked up in the corner, waiting for some love and some development ever since I got the stupid tick bite, which kind of knocked me off my feet for a little bit. I didn't know you could get so sick from a tick. Apparently, you can. I learned the hard way. So if you get a tick bite, let me tell you what, go to the doctor. um, So now I'm back to loving on my paintings a little bit. They take time because I'm only adding a little bit per layer, basically. Um, so they all look different and they all take a different amount of time to develop. Sometimes they come together quickly, and other times, well, I have one here that I've been working on for so long. It's embarrassing, but I was actually in Florida during Hurricane Dorian, where it was like bearing down on the coast of my friend's house, and we all had to evacuate. And we ended up in a hotel in Orlando, which I guess the Disney hotels are super safe for hurricanes or whatever. Um, so anyways, we brought our art supplies with us because I had gone down to visit her to paint, and then we ended up evacuating. So in the hotel, I started this painting, and one of these like little abstracts, and it's still not done. I still hate it. So in reality, I hate my paintings and I love them into being what I want them to be. I just try to get them over time to develop what I think they can be and not what they want to settle to be. Speaking of, I really like this one a lot too. The question is this, do I go back to the lines or do I add more? I love these circular shapes. Do I want to compete with them? Maybe a little bit. Oh, I could be using, this is the end of a hairdryer. It's one of my favorite things. This could be maybe. This could be a maybe. Or I could go with bigger circles. That could be another maybe. That could be a very distinct possibility. How about this one? Yes. I'm thinking this one. So I'm going to pull out a little bit more paint and add a little bit of water so that I can thin it up a little. I want it thin so that I don't need a ton of it on my thing. But I don't want it so thick. I mean, I want it thin enough so that I'm not using a ton of it up. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I lose my train of thought a lot. Sorry. And if you're on and I haven't acknowledged you or said hello, I'm sorry. I don't really know YouTube etiquette very much. I'm not very good at it, and I can't really see who's on and who's not. If you leave me comments, though, I will try to say hello. But I'm just here doing my work day in front of you, basically. I don't mind that. I think the 2 different size circles works, and then there'll be 2 different tones of yellow essentially. So I'm happy with that. Let's set that one up there. Oh, let's add a color to this one and this one, and ooh, especially this one. I think for sure. There's like 16 of them. I want to add a layer to. I don't know. I want to make sure I don't run out of paint. That's all. This one too. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a whole bunch of these, like with the hash marks, which I know isn't as interesting as like the stampy things. Oh, there's another one that I did the circles on. So I'll want to maybe do the smaller circles on that one. This one right here. Yeah, I think that's actually worth doing. So if you're with me, thank you so much for being here. I am working on my playtime paintings while I clean my palette and get ready for the next color in my actual serious painting. This is just my using my leftover paint to make, I don't know, I have a frantic pile of these abstract minis. I call them abstract minis. And I probably have, I don't know, 45 of them going. And I need to finish this oil painting. But that's a challenge. So I decided I'm going to dig into my conceptual acrylic piece that I'm doing. And then since I'm doing that, I get excited because this is playtime painting and I love it. I love doing my playtime painting more than any of the representational painting I do because I my representational painting is just grueling, I feel like. And this stuff is just fun. And even though these are kind of tedious and they take a while to finish, I get to work on all of them at the same time, which is really fun. So if you have ADHD, it's a great way to work. Or maybe not. I do finish them. I have a whole bunch hanging around my house that are done. Believe it or not, they eventually will call out to me and say, "Hey, lady, I'm done." And I will listen and stop the madness. So I forget to actually stamp lighter layers. I like go back for paint every time because I'm forgetting. I like that distribution on there. So it's like very bubbly. I love that. So next, set that one aside. This one, I don't like working on the surface. The surface kind of pisses me off. It's a canvas board. And it's not, I don't know. I don't like hard surfaces. I feel like the brushes, the tools, whatever, like skim across the top. Like I'm trying to, I don't know, use them on sheetrock. I don't like them. But sometimes I get donated materials because people know I'm kind of a junk artist and I use junk to make my artwork and whatever. And they will give me old art supplies. And a lot of times they sit unused, but not always. Sometimes it's like, oh gosh, I don't need, newsprint from 1972 because it's like cracking. Or whatever. Tubes of paint. I have oil paints that are discontinued, that were made like in the 70s and are perfectly good to use. But some of them have dried up, so this is just one of those things that I was like, well, I don't love canvas boards, but I can technically use it. But yesterday I was getting grumpy at it, so try to hold my zen here. I lose my patience a lot more easily than I would like to admit. My husband will attest to that, but he will kindly say it doesn't bother him. All right, yeah, that went a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday I was like having to watch my language. I know I can swear on here, but it's just something I have actually recently, I don't know about recently, but in the last year or two, very much focused on just not having a part of my arsenal. So, but occasionally. All right, just want to freshen that up a little bit. This one is getting pretty marked up, so I'm wondering if maybe it is time to peel after this dries. Maybe this layer, in fact, once this layer dries, I think I'll pull all the tape and then reevaluate basically the next layer. I really don't know what it's going to look like. I don't have a plan for any of these, and I'm just working all of them at the same time basically. So I'm having to just, I'm not even really guessing or speculating. I would say I'm very much like, what do I feel like this wants? And some of them like get directional. And some of them don't, but most of them will tell me what they want. But the one from when I started in Hurricane Dorian that I saw when finished, it won't tell me what it wants no matter what. And I'm begging it every day, please. I haven't touched it in a few years because I have begged this since Hurricane Dorian. Tell me what you want. I actually stuck it on my table today because I haven't really touched it in probably a year because I just can't. I just can't. Oh, and I'm thinking today, maybe what we need actually is a healthy dose of marg making. I'm not sure. I can't screw it up at this point. It's been such a disappointment to me in my life. It's like one of my epic failure paintings is this one right here. I have one other one that I ended up repainting. I don't know what made me do it. I repainted it, and then that one sold for a good amount of money because it sold like pre-2000, and it sold for like $2,000. So anyways, that was a watercolor. This one, you couldn't redo it. I had a reference photo when I redid the rose. This one, I don't know what I can do with it. I would have to gesso it and start the heck over. So I gotta do something with it. It's not, it doesn't, see, it looks less hideous on there, but all that blue is tape. So if it looks like I'm not looking at you guys, I'm not. I'm looking at the paintings always. If that's disorienting, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I'm sure there's less disorienting people to watch. So marks, circles. I think that's where I start, is with the circles. Do I want the big ones or the small ones though? I don't really know. I say big. I say we start with the big ones and work our way down, maybe? Yeah, I think so. I think that would be wise. So I don't know what this little brass thing is. It's like a holder maybe. But anyways, I found it super handy when I found it in the free bin. Oops, I almost made a boo-boo. I need to make like a little handle for this. There we go. There we go. Now I do have some tape down on this guy. It's like the thin lines that you see. So I literally have no idea where I'm going with this painting because I've hated on it for so long and I felt like there's no hope for you. You are just, like, you remember the dunce cap in the corner of the room? That's this guy. This guy sits over there in the corner of the room mocking me, not letting me have any idea where it wants to go. I must sound like a sociopath, but that's literally the relationship I have with my paintings. Sometimes I can't make content because I need to sit and look at my paintings. So, and I don't even like making content. I'm just doing it because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it gives you a bigger voice as an artist. And I feel like every artist faces that problem of like, gosh, I don't really like making the content. Although it is kind of creative. But any of you out there making content and doing editing or whatever, wow, what is that? It's awful. It's like homework every day. Every day is homework now. I thought I got to grow up and not do homework forever. Anyways, I'll stop complaining. Sorry. Bubbles, what do you think? All right. All right, Mr. Octopus. You just got a layer. So that's that. I'm thinking also this little guy. All right. Yeah, I definitely want to get the small circles on this guy. My kitchen tool. I should like leave my tools here so that I don't forget, because then I can't find them. All right, so this guy is going to get the smaller version, and there's very little actual canvas at this point exposed because I've got it mostly covered, but there's bits of it exposed, and I just want to have like the different layers of the colors that I have going from the painting that is inspiring this. It's not really inspiring it. It's more like I am allowed to have playtime when I had to work my butt off and break my spine to do those 3 coats on that second color yesterday. So this is the reward, is playtime. And playtime is fun because I'm not super attached to these, but people really like them. And I don't feel like I have to charge a lot of money for them because it was playtime, you know? It was just extra playtime. I mean, it's not like it cost me nothing, but as long as I can just, you know, recoup that, then I'm happy. So, all right. So you can see where I know I have all the tape covering it, which I'm blind. That's why I have to keep taking my glasses off. All right. Perfect. I want to maybe get some marks on these as well. Oh, and this one too, I think. Yes, indeed. Oh no, that one I just did. Okay. I gotta be careful because I'll end up making a mess of the previous layers. So I need to move a few things. Sorry. I have like, it's like a mad lab in here. I didn't add anything to that. This one has layers. I probably should be careful with that one. I have paintings precariously stacked everywhere now because normally I carry them around. Like I will take them to and from the living room, but I'm trying to not leave like the camera frame. All right, so more hash marks, and then this one. Let's do this one first. Get it out of the way. This one I use like this thing here for, this metal palette knife. I don't really love metal palette knives, but I like them for this. I mostly use plastic to manipulate the paint on the canvas though. Ooh, look at that. That's interesting. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like, if it was going to work to add these weird rando colors together, but I don't mind it. That's interesting. Sometimes I keep within like the same color palette for a piece, but other times I'll use like really highly contrasting colors and then they like visually they will pop. So interesting. I'm just experimenting and you're just along for the ride with me. So if you're here, I appreciate you and I thank you for being here for the minute that you stopped in. I think it tells me my average view is like 48 seconds. So, you know, it could be worse, I guess. It could be 4 seconds. If I can hold your attention for 48 seconds during a live demo, that's not bad because I've done live demos downtown regularly where people just like pass by. So, but I like doing it because you get a lot of like you do find a lot of really cool people. I like doing live demos because I meet very cool people, a lot of times artists as well. My best friend, one of my best friends, who lives in Florida now, is an artist that I met through teaching. So like I do meet very cool people through my interactions with the art world. I like that. That's good. Set that one aside. Let it cook in the oven, proof, as they call it in the Great British Baking Show. All right. back to the palette knife, the plastic one for a minute here. I do use the plastic ones a lot on the canvases as well, so that's why I say they're my favorite. I prefer them for like moving the paint around on the palette, and I mostly prefer them for applying paint to the canvas. The metal ones, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. They just serve like a limited purpose to me. Mostly they bother me because they get like rusty very easily. So I'm not a fan of rust. So yeah, I prefer to be using rust-free equipment. But I will use the metal palette knife to do a couple things on the canvases. I've never done like a whole painting with a metal palette knife though, so that's one of these things I want to do, is like a full palette knife painting, which I really haven't done. So that's a confession I have to make. But I didn't do a lot of painting in college. I, for whatever reason, didn't ever seem to be able to register early enough to take good classes, and I ended up taking a lot of sculpture, printmaking, and drawing, like a ton of drawing. So at the end of the day, I only took like I think 2 painting classes, and they were really instrumental in developing my style and my voice, but I didn't become a prolific painter through college education. But the classes I took definitely informed my artwork, I think. I think my artwork has a lot of a graphic nature to it, which would be like very printmaky, and I think it has a very like three-dimensional element to it, even on two-dimensional surfaces. I think I have a very three-dimensional feel to my work. Not like, I'm not saying hyper realistic. I'm saying like it just comes at you. So I'm very interested in line and form and shape. See how my time is doing. 37 minutes in, not bad. If I can make it a full hour, that would be really stellar. It's a little bit brutal to do a live stream, but anyways, for me, I think. I'm going to try to do another one this afternoon where I'm actually like putting paint on that canvas once I get all of this paint cleaned off, and I'm happy with, you know, all the playtime paintings. Once I'm done with those, then I will put the newer color in the piece, the next color. I don't even know how to talk. Yeah. Wow. I get dry mouth here. Ooh. Thank goodness. I can't tell. Oh, I feel like my speaker turned off as well, which is not good. There we go. I don't know why this one turns off on occasion. That one is still on. Sorry about that. I don't know why my speaker, mic, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, not speaker. My microphone turned off. That's just because it hates me. I have 2 of them set up, but the one that is on me seems to want to defy me today. So what else is new? All right. I feel like I've got a pretty nice layer of paint on most of these little abstract minis, as I call them. I don't want to add some yellow to this one. I forgot yesterday, so I'm going to not forget today. All right, there we go. I like to get the proper viscosity. All right, beautiful. I really like doing this for certain types of backgrounds for things. Yep. It looks like I'm looking at the painting. I am. always looking at the painting. If I can do it as easily as looking up at the screen, that's really cool, because normally I have to like step back from it, but that like acts as a step back, so I love doing that. I feel like I'm cheating. Now I want to get like a little bit more washy layer down in the other areas that I didn't touch. I'm not trying to fill in the white entirely. I actually like leaving a little bit of the canvas to peek through, but not a ton of it. Not Jackson Pollock or anything. Not quite as brave as that. I mean, you think about how ballsy you gotta be to leave just a smatter of paint all over canvases and feel comfortable that people will appreciate it, especially, you know, at the time of when things weren't, when that was pretty unheard of, you know, that would be kind of, whoa, what are you doing? There we go. I like that. So, makes me wonder, what next? Do I spatter these up? I want to make sure I have enough paint. I have plenty. I have plenty. I get worried and stingy, which is so silly. It's another thing my husband and I get into, let's just say, intense discussions about is stinginess, because I believe in being really, really generous, liberal, kind, not liberal like politics, but whatever. Like, I'm not against you for being that. I'm just saying whatever. I like being very generous, though. And I won't say he's not generous. He's generous with me a lot of the time. But sometimes he's just not generous in general. And I'm like, you know what? It will come back in the end to pay you twofold, tenfold. It's just worth doing. I feel like the universe always takes care of me. I consider it to be God, but some people don't believe that. But I do, and I believe that I'm taken care of because of being generous. Like, look, this is my life. How could I not feel like like I've been gifted a beautiful thing in a beautiful space, in a beautiful studio. I feel very blessed. So I also feel very thirsty. I just stopped putting the lid on because it deters me from taking sips. But I also don't know how awful it sounds in the mic if I'm like taking a drink. But man, I get dry trying to talk and paint at the same time. I get parched, partner. All right, so this one is like I'm directionally spattering, but I have like tape on there and I'm adding tape as I go. I'm trying to create like an interesting composition in this particular one. So that might be about as far as I go. I always get my hand really painted when I do that. This one I've been working on for so long. I bet you this one has had like years of layers. Years, probably. It's such a slow, tedious process when I'm just using one color at a time and I only tackle one color a day, basically. So then everybody gets like one coat. Not every single day. I'd have to be in the studio every day, which that would be amazing. But anyways, everybody gets kind of like one coat of that one color that I've added, to the big painting for the day. And so who knows? This might take 100 coats. It might take 100 layers. I should say layers. I shouldn't say coats. Coat would imply like full coverage, which I'm not doing, obviously. So that being said, I have a generous amount of paint on my palette, and I just want to make sure everybody gets a nice healthy dollop, however they ask for it. Each one will tell me what they're looking for. You probably think I'm crazy saying my paintings talk to me, but they absolutely have conversations with me for sure. It's a tug of war all the time. I got more cooperation from my toddler, and my toddler was pretty strong-willed. My paintings, however, they are such uncooperative little. I mean, everybody will look at them and say, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing!" I'm like, "Oh, if you only knew how many times I had to open up a can of. Don't make me go there." That's not a thing. It should be a thing. A can of "Don't make me go there," because that's where I've been with some of my paintings. Don't make me gesso you over. All right, I like that addition of that brightness there. That's popping. That is popping right there. I think I can probably layer up some of these paintings again. I have this one, which I haven't even put any paint on here yet. This is the first. I basically taped it off. This is like automotive tape. It's big, huge. It's a big, huge roll of tape. Um, so this is one that I haven't even put any paint on yet. I just gessoed the tape in place so I get a nice clean edge, and it's ready for mark making. And so this is the first mark I'm going to be putting on here. And I'm like, I'm thinking, I love the kitchen tool. This is the first time I've used it. For some reason, I hadn't pulled it out before. I saw it sitting there and I was like, this needs to be used today. So I think it'll be maybe kitchen tool. It's hard to get it super coated in paint though, so I'm gonna pull some paint out and try to get myself a little pile of it so that I can go back and forth several times without stopping. Okay, there we go. That should do it. That should do it. All right, so this one is a unique one because I'm combining a couple things like the tape with the mark making with the white canvas background is a couple of different things I haven't really combined before, so I'm excited for this one. It just came to me today. It had been sitting there. Now, see, that's what I mean when I say it needs to tell me what it wants, or I don't know how to help it. So this canvas finally reached out to me and said, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for," and I'm like, "I can accommodate that. Let's do it. Let's do it up." But I don't really have a clear idea. I kind of just let the canvas speak to me and tell me what it needs, what it wants next. It seems to work. People like them. I like them. My husband thinks he owns all of them, and she does not. I tell him that all the time. Like, I was making paintings like long before you and I were doing our thing. So true too. Like a long time before, dude. Like 30 years. Because that's how old I am. That's how old he is, so. All right, that is looking good. Doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be like present, if that makes any sense, you know? So doesn't need to be overbearing, but it is covering white. So I really can't like overdo it. If anything, I could underdo it probably. So I'm just trying to be really generous with my marks. There we go. All right. Awesome. You probably can't really see it, but well, if I tilt it in the light, in my blinding lights here, then you can see it. So this one I'm going to set off to the side here. Wow. All right. Now I've got this flame one. I call it the flame one. I don't know. It's just, I'm not really sure it's a flame. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not claiming to be good at this or anything, but I'm going to grab a piece of my plastic and just add a little bit of color to this. Must be noisy. I'm sorry if it is. That's annoying. I have no idea. Okay, beautiful. I actually really like that. That adds quite the pop. I was a little nervous because it's kind of lime-ish, but I think it works. Now for a little bit of fun, gotta do a few droppy drops. Because it helps it to like swirl, I feel like. Then maybe a spritz or two, just for good measure. Yeah, okay. Don't want to overwork it, which, oops, I am guilty of, and that canvas can't sit there because there's a tube of paint poking through it. That doesn't work. Okay. I'll have to fix that. Whoops. All right, it looks like I've nearly gotten all of them done. This one is maybe the last one, which, I don't know, looks like it's going to take a lot of shaking, rattling, and rolling. It's going to take some energy. No, I've actually got this one too. That would be worth doing, I think. What else? Oh, and that one too. All right. This one is going to take some energy. Let's do some more mark making. Maybe with a different tool this time. Maybe with this one. We'll use this end. I like this one too. And I like the change in color. This one's really dark underneath. So, whoops, that should have been straighter. But I guess there's no right way, right? It's just in my brain says, oh, that should be straight. It doesn't really have to be anything. It can just be what it is. Whatever it decides to be, it can be. There's no wrong answer. This canvas I actually found on the side of the road as well. Literally, it had a bunch of colors already on it, kind of in a weird, like, wishy-washy way. So I literally just put the painting that I started right on top of it. So that's kind of crazy, but I will gesso over them. I have some behind me that I just gessoed over because I just didn't want to try to contend with what was underneath it. But these bigger canvases, I like doing them, but I often forget how much time you have to spend doing, like, getting the marks on there. It's a little bit tedious. So if you're with me, I appreciate you being here. I thank you so much. If you're an artist, let me know. I'll try to keep up with you in the comments. I sometimes miss comments because I'm like looking down. I wish there was like a noise. I should look. Is there a noise that comes up when you get a comment? I think in TikTok, there's like noises. It feels like there should be noises if I'm getting comments or even people like joining the live. Wouldn't that make sense? Has YouTube ever thought about that? If not, they should. I might just get on the email right now and say, what is up with that? For people who are actually trying to do something, we can't just sit here and look at the screen. That wouldn't make us a very interesting live to watch. I have to be having my head down into what I'm doing so that you have something to watch. And yet at the same time, I have to watch for comments, which is hard to do. So I don't know if there's sound that accompanies comments, but I'll have to look into that. I didn't think about it until literally just right now. I'm going to grab a little bit more paint because I'm kind of running out in my little area here. And the paint is just underneath the plastic so it doesn't dry up on me. And then I add a little water so it's not goopy because I want it thin. Fairly thin. Anyways. Probably could be a little thicker than I had it on up till now. But that's all right. These can just stand out a little bit better. Funny to see that I'll go from 0 to 4 people in 2 seconds. So if you're here, I appreciate you. I'm working on my playtime paintings right now. In between my big heavy duty conceptual pieces. I used leftover paint to make playtime paintings, and these are like my favorite days in the world because I'm just here having fun with garbage I found lying around. And just talking about whatever, I guess. I don't really have anything super interesting to talk about. I try to like not watch the news because it's really depressing. I try to think about like the next time that my husband and I are going to go kayaking, which we just did, or the weekend. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh. Hadn't been in it forever, so it was really nice to get out and kayak. Hello, thank you for being here. I am just working on a playtime painting, talking about how nice it was to finally go kayaking this past weekend. We hadn't been in like forever, since last year actually, so that was a really nice thing. But we also had just the worst freaking weather for the longest time. All right, I think that's good. I think I can put her down. Move on to the next one. Just trying to make the 1 hour mark. Oh, look, I've only got 3 more minutes left. And then I can punch out of the time clock. It's kind of what it feels like to me. It's like a time clock. I feel like I'm at work right now. When I'm in my studio by myself, I guess I feel like I'm at work then too, but it's not the same. Like I can't really leave here and stop when I want to because I'm on the live stream. That's not bad. I like that layer. It's like pretty dense for changing the color palette so completely, but I like it, so I'm gonna go with it. Let's see. I'm running out of room for all of these. I need to figure out where I'm going to stick them to dry. I've like run out of room in my attempt to try to keep everything close to me and not walk off the screen. Now I've like run out of room to put the pieces that I am done working on. All right. I'll have to shift them all to the living room in a few minutes here, I think. I think I have to acquiesce to saying goodbye for a little bit in order to shift the space because I am getting overwhelmed with paintings. They're surrounding me all over the place, everywhere. And I need to actually, if I spatter my deck, I'll be upset. So I'm gonna do this pretty intense spattering, and I don't want Mr. Duck there to get offended. So you don't want to be sticking oils on or acrylics on top of oils. That's not a good thing to do. My dear friend Pat is a really good oil painter. I'm nothing as good as her. And she'll always ask me like if I pick up canvases on the side of the road, you know, that are like painted on. She'll be like, "Are you sure that's acrylic? Because you don't want to paint acrylics on top of that." This is like the most fun. It's literally like finger painting, but not, you know. And I don't want to diss you if you finger paint. Like that's awesome, but it's like I don't know. I feel like I get to play like Jackson Pollock for the day when I get to do these fun spatter paintings, which I don't know. They end up working out really well. This one still has like miles and miles to go though, so. And the cool thing for me is the type of artwork I do, it's so organic. It could not ever be like, I don't know, maybe one day AI will get this good at creating random chaos. Right now it's not good at it, so human chaos, I guess, is not reproducible. That's why it'll probably take over one day, probably in the near future, and say, this human chaos is not worth it. Okay, wow, this one is a big canvas to be doing this to as well. It's pretty tiring, not gonna lie. I actually had to like rest out of fold. Yesterday, after doing the 3 coats of that second color on that canvas, by the end of the day, I was like, "Arr," feeling super sore because it's actually exhausting uh, to paint like I do. I'm sure there are people who are like, I'm not one of them though. Unfortunately, that's why I work out each day as much as I can. Not as much as I can, but as many days as I can. I try to be good about it. This week I'm actually doing really good. I had 4 days in a row, which is not usually. Usually I'll take Wednesday off and then the weekend. But today I was going for 5 days in a row. Got my little workout so that I can develop some endurance here because, man, I'm getting tired at the end of the day. Oh, there's my timer that says I've been doing this 1 hour. That's exciting. It says I can wrap it up here shortly if I want. I mean, I don't have to, but if I'm on a roll, I may not, if I'm doing really good or if I have a bunch of people on the live stream or whatever. But at some point, I basically have to transfer the paint into the pot and then put the new color on there. And then I start working on the third color for that painting. So this is just a playtime moment while I am using up some of the paint that I had made more than enough of. So I can replace the paint into the jar. Unless there's any others I really want to add color to at this point. You know what? I see like maybe 2 or 3 more. I might as well get them all. My hand has taken a beating here from the spatter, so since that's what I'm doing, I might as well do that. This one actually has like very little canvas showing at this point. So I'm not sure I want to add the yellow to this one. I think I'm going to pass on that. I want to pass on that one. I think I'm going to do this one though. Definitely think I'm going to do that one. All right. So I appreciate you for being here. If you're here watching me do my playtime paintings while I prep myself for an afternoon of doing the not playtime paintings, the serious artwork versus the fun stuff. All right, there we go. So today we are getting rain again in upstate New York, and I am for once relieved because we had 3 of the hottest days that we've had in forever. It's literally been cold and rainy right up until 2 weeks ago, or even less. It was like bitter cold. It felt like I was taking care of my parents' little farm while they were away, and I just couldn't believe how cold it was. Like normally I sit outside on the deck and I enjoy the sun and watch the lawn and the chickens and everything, and I had to like stay inside bundled up under the covers for several of the days because it was like a monsoon and it was just so miserable. The chickens could not go out in their little chicken tractor. They had to be shut up in the barn and everything. And so, yeah. So we just got decent weather, and literally it goes from that monsoon in the 50s to like 100 degrees. That's we need time to transition. And then wake up today and the high is going to be 68 or something, and it's cold and rainy. So back to what it was. So my voice is like suffering from allergies because of it. And wouldn't you know, they paved our road on day 1 of the heat wave on Monday. So blacktop, like thick, whoa, smelly, disgusting blacktop. So finally we get like hot days, and I wanted to at least go outside in the heat. We don't get it that much, so you couldn't really take a walk though. It was just so disgusting. Whoa. So we had the 3 hot days, and all that you could smell we have the essential air, so thank God it wasn't in the house. But if you stepped outside, all you could smell was that nasty tar smell. Oh, it's just really, really offensive. Oh, I'm thinking maybe I add some color to this one just cause it's kind of sparse and it's got the black background, so why not do a little bit on that guy? I wish I could play music in the background. That's the one thing I don't like about YouTube lives versus when I was going on TikTok. Like I don't think TikTok really cares what you play in the background. Whereas I guess YouTube does, which I don't know why they care. Um, Technically, if I had friends over in my studio, which you could be considered, you would listen to whatever I was listening to with me. So, I pay for my Amazon membership, I pay for my Pandora music, I pay for actually more than one music service because music is so important to me, which is why I have to have the earbud in because I rarely am not listening to something. I just find it weird that YouTube is like, no, if you're hanging out with your friends, you can't listen to any music because they might not have paid for it as well as you. Like, what the heck do you care that people hanging out with me haven't paid for music? Like, I understand not using it in your videos or whatever, though they don't seem to care that much about that either. But then it's like a boring environment to not have any sound in the background, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But maybe they have like music that they allow. I could have like one of their ambient jazz stations that is like copyright free. I don't know. Not sure. I've only started to do the YouTube thing kind of recently. I didn't really understand YouTube. I got exposed to other platforms first somehow, even though YouTube's been around longer, ironically. So if I just hopped on the YouTube bandwagon, when they first came out 20 years ago, when I was doing the art thing with a husband that was a computer programmer, I'd be already, a famous person. But I don't know that it would have served me well. So, all right. So I've got some yellow kind of intermittently there. I don't like these corners, but I'm going to do my best to work with them. I'm not really sure what I was thinking. I'm not sure. I don't always know because sometimes a lot of time passes between the beginning and the end of a painting because these are worked so slowly and in so many millions of layers that I will actually forget where I was going with something the last time I was working on it. Very absent-minded person. Very like ADHD, but also like, I don't know. Just not always thinking ahead. I try to leave myself notes and I don't know. I have a hard time keeping up with myself also. So it's not helpful, I'm sure. This one's kind of this one I don't love working on for some reason. Not really sure what it is about it. It could be all the tiny sections. So I'll have to think about that for next time because I don't really love doing these tiny sections. This is not very interesting. I don't love it. I should probably cut out too because I've been here for an hour, but that's all right. I'm still working on the paintings I'm working on, so until I actually get paint on all the canvases that are surrounding me, I don't want to really stop working on them. Because I've got like 40 of them going, and it's just easier to get all the paint on all the different canvases in one shot than it is to go back and forth. So then I can dig into the next color on that painting back there, and then I'll have another color to add. So, and people can buy prints too, if they want. And then I take the plastic, usually, I'll try to clean as much of it off as I can though, which it looks like I did not get all of it. Whoops. Sorry about that. I do try to clean it as much as I can off the palette and off the plastic actually as well. And then I'll save it. So even though it's kind of runny because I've added so much water to it, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect it. So I just try to be super economical with it. I don't like to waste my paint, and I don't like to create a lot of garbage with my paint either and waste. I don't know. So I don't know that I'm like a huge, I wouldn't call myself a crazy raging environmentalist, but I grew up just very poor, and you had to like be smart and economical about things. So that's what I'm trying to do. So anyways, I get most of the paint off with that. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you could hear the audio. Did you hear me say it would be nice if you just reconditioned my brushes kindly on your own without me prompting you? Did you hear that part? So I'm gonna spray this with some water just to get it wet because it's mostly dried when I pull all that off. And then I have a piece that gets this plastic treatment. Okay, which looks kind of crazy, but that's where I'm going with it. I haven't even unveiled one of these to see how this works, so we're all in this together. Let's do this. And then I just kind of smash it down, and those usually take like overnight to dry, but we'll see. And then this guy is ready for some tie-dyed paper towels. I can get lots of layers of paint onto these, and then they look really cool, and they can be used for different things as well. So I really end up like not really wasting any paint in the whole process, or really rinsing anything down the drain or anything. So it's not, like I said, I'm not like an environmentalist, but I do like to be conscious of my waste and what I'm doing with it. So I'll spritzy spritz one more time. And then I'm going to be ready to put the next color on, which I can do like right now, in fact. Alright, so I just like to dry it off and get all the like previous remnants of color off the surface. And then grab a fresh piece of plastic. Here we go. And my water bottle. Hang on. Ha! There we go. Spritz some water down. Okay. And grab color number 3. Which doesn't look like there's a ton of, but I think it should be fine. I tried to be thoughtful about how much I made, so. Oh, that one is off for some reason again. These turn off on their own, which they shouldn't do. These little microphones don't always do what I want them to do. Not sure why that is. Oh, because that's off. Oh, I see. Maybe my microphone thing died. I don't really know. I'll be honest, I am nearing the end of the live stream here, but I've got my next color that's going to go on the painting behind me here. So I just want to get that ready, because if I get it on the palette, then I will be motivated to get my butt down here after my break and keep going. If I don't get it on the palette, I'll be like, oh, I could just wait till tomorrow. No. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can be doing today, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to take a break because I've been doing this for 77 minutes, it says up there, which is wowzers. Alright, so there, I've got my paint ready to go. Actually, my little palette knife can hang out there. Just add like a little bit more water, just for good measure. And then I'm going to say goodbye because nobody's here. Yay!